Hi everyone, welcome back. We are Nanti and Valentina. So today we are talking about something that literally shapes every single relationship you have. And most people have no idea it's even happening. We are diving into attachment styles. And just to be clear, we are not psychologists, but Nanti is a coach and I'm a holistic therapist. But we've both done a lot of personal growth work. So we didn't just read and heard about patterns, about love, relationship patterns, but we take awareness of our own patterns. We experience them actually.
Right. And here's the thing, every relationship is a mirror. Every person who comes into our life is teaching us something, showing us parts of ourselves we might not see otherwise. And when you understand your attachment style, it's essentially understanding the lenses through which you see all your relationships. By the end of this video, you'll understand where this pattern comes from, and you'll probably start recognizing yourself in one or more of these patterns. This awareness is the first step. It helps you understand why you act in certain ways, why you're attracted to certain people, and all of that. And this video is mainly like an overview of the categories, but we also made some separate videos for each style where we go deeper. So if one of you, if one resonates with you, check out that specific video if you want. So first thing we want to say, your attachment style is a learned pattern. And if it's not working for you, it can be changed. It's not something you're stuck with forever. It takes awareness, and of course, it takes some work, but you can rewrite it. As we go through the styles, we'll mention they come from experiences in our early years, usually with our caregivers. Now, some situations, of course, were harder than others, but here's what matters. It's not the event itself, or actually, it's not always the event itself, it's how we experienced it, how we internalized it. So something small can be traumatizing for some of us, and nothing for others. So we're not here to judge, but just to show you that you have the power to change everything and also to change this. Personal power is your power to change your life, and you absolutely have it.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's start from the beginning. Attachment theory was developed by John Bowlby in the 1950s. He was studying how babies bond with their caregivers, and what he discovered was pretty groundbreaking. Basically, when you're little, you're completely dependent on the people around you, and you feel everything, and everything seems to be a big thing. Even a tiny situation seems huge because you're tiny, you're small. And from these experiences, you draw conclusions about the world. If it's a safe place, if you can trust the people you love, if you are supported, if you can relax. Whatever conclusion you draw to those questions, they become your blueprint for relationship. It's not that you consciously remember being 6 months old and crying, but your nervous system remember whether someone came to comfort you, whether they were consistent, whether you felt safe. And here's what we find so powerful about this. Once you understand that these are learned patterns from when you were too young to have any control, you realize they're not who you are. They're just patterns, and patterns can be changed. We generally believe that everybody, so you too, can transform any aspect of their life with inner work, good techniques, intention, and discipline. We have that power. But first, you need to see the patterns that you had interiorized. Before changing, you need to be aware. These early experiences created 5 main attachment styles: anxious, avoidant, ambivalent, disorganized, and secure. And we're going to walk you through each one. Let's start with anxious attachment, which some of you might identify with. If this is you, relationship can feel really intense. You crave deep connection and intimacy, but there's this constant underlying anxiety that the other person doesn't feel the same way. You might find yourself checking your phone constantly, analyzing every text, needing reassurance, worrying about abandonment. And it's not that you're being dramatic or needy. Your nervous system generally perceives threats to the relationship even when everything's objectively fine. This usually develops when caregivers were inconsistent. Sometimes they were warm and available, other times they were distracted or emotionally unavailable. So you learn that love isn't guaranteed. You have to work for it, monitor it, make sure it doesn't slip away. As adults, this can show up as being the person who always reaches out first, who apologizes even when it's not your fault, who feels devastated by small signs of distance. You might reread messages 5 times before sending them, worried about how you will come across. So the fear of abandonment is the main fear. You have the fear to be abandoned. And sometimes you can also try to provoke the reaction of the other person. Because when you feel the situation too calm, so you try to provoke a reaction on the other person. Or you start to victimize yourself. And the other big fear here is the fear of rejection. So you try to do everything that the other person loves. You try to be the person that you think the other person will love. But actually, the other person love you as you are. Choose you, not somebody else. But there is this constant thinking, this constant fear of rejection, this constant sensation that there is something bad in you, that there is something that it's not good in you, that you try to be somebody else, to be loved, to be appreciated. So this led you to diminish your self-esteem because you are saying to yourself that you're not enough, that you're not good like you are now, and you need to change. So actually, you are rejecting and abandon yourself before the rejection or abandonment of the other person. So here's something that I want you to think about. Do you feel anxious when your partner wants time alone? Do you interpret normal human need for space as rejection? You feel anxious every time you start to show your vulnerability.
Then there is the avoidant attachment. With avoidant attachment, independence is everything. You value your autonomy and self sufficiency. And when you get too close to someone, that can feel genuinely suffocating and claustrophobic. You might have been called emotionally unavailable or afraid of commitment or things like that. But from your perspective, you're just kind of protecting your freedom and your independency and your space. Vulnerability feels really, really uncomfortable. You prefer to handle problems on your own rather than reaching out for help or for support. And when someone gets too emotionally intense, your instinct is to create distance, to run away. This typically develops when caregivers were emotionally distant or dismissive of feelings. Maybe when you expressed needs, you were met with irritation, unavailability, indifference. So you learned that the safest thing was to just handle everything yourself. These kids were those kids that since the very early age, they had to kind of become little adults, like they had to learn how to do everything by themselves, how to take care of themselves without asking for help. As an adult, this can look like pulling away when relationships get serious, feeling trapped by the other person's expectations, intellectualizing emotions rather than actually feeling them. And or also like when someone gets upset with you, your first instinct might be if to tell them they're being too sensitive, or you think like you want more space, you don't want to take care of other people's emotions, you feel like running away from all this. It's too much, it feels like too much, it's claustrophobic, you can't breathe in the relationship, and you simply don't feel like being that present as the other person might demand you to be. So here is a question you can ask yourself to start reflecting on whether you have this type of attachment style, which is, do you ever find yourself thinking that a relationship is something that would limit your freedom? Do you prefer relationships that stay a little bit on the surface level? And here's something we've learned through our own growth. You can actually be free even in a relationship. You can find someone that respects your freedom, understands also when this freedom is legit or when it's a bit extremized, like when your request is a little bit extreme. But we can find someone that really listens and without judgment, that really creates that safe space where we can openly talk and, build from there to walk together towards freedom, towards a life together made of freedom and happiness. So it is possible to feel free even in a relationship. But if you don't feel free when it comes to being in a relationship, of course, it depends on the type of relationship you're having in this moment. But it can also be that you feel like you need to kind of escape from it. You feel claustrophobic in general. So it could be something related to maybe a little bit of an avoidant attachment style.
Yeah. Then there's ambivalent attachment, which is also called anxious avoidant because it's actually a mix of anxious and avoidant patterns. So depending on the person you have in front, or with the person you are in a relationship with, the behavior of the person is moving from anxious to avoidant. Maybe there is some times where we are a bit more anxious and we go walking through the other person, trying to keep them with us. And sometimes we feel like we don't have space, we don't have air, and so we want to run away. So this happened when you had caregivers sometimes present and sometimes not present. So you tend to recreate these dynamics. So sometimes in the so near, and sometimes you need really to run away, to be detached.
Absolutely. And then the next attachment style we want to cover is the disorganized attachment. If you have disorganized attachment, you want closeness, but you're also terrified of it. There is this intense push-pull dynamic, okay, inside you, where you crave connection, but as soon as someone gets close, you feel trapped and you feel like you're scared and you want to run away. You might find yourself pulling people in and then pushing them away, sometimes in the same conversation after just a few minutes. This style often develops from early experiences that were very frightening or confusing. When the person who was supposed to be your source of safety, your caregiver, was also a source of fear or unpredictability or violence, abuses, and so on. So if you identify yourself with this attachment or with this way of living your relationships, we recommend to talk to a professional about this, like a psychologist or someone that could help you dig deeper, and to continue working on your personal growth to receive the right support you need to that then you can give back in your relationships.
Yeah. And finally, the secure attachment. This is what we should aim to tend to. If you're securely attached, relationships generally feel, well, secure. You're comfortable with intimacy, but you also value your independence. You can be vulnerable without feeling like you're losing yourself. When conflicts happen, you can talk through them without panicking or shutting down completely. Here's what this looks like in real life. If your partner doesn't text back for a few hours, you just assume that they're busy. You don't spiral into they don't care about me or feel the need to create distance to protect yourself. You trust that people care about you, but you also have a solid sense of your own worth that doesn't depend on constant validation. People with secure attachment typically had caregivers who were constantly responsive. Not perfect because no one is perfect, but reliable enough that they learn the relationship are generally safe spaces. It's possible to develop a healthy attachment through awareness, personal growth, and corrective experiences, and also thanks to a healthy relationship. It's important that when both person want to really heal their patterns and they after had some inner work, so they can really build a healthy relationship and they go through the patterns. Sometimes something we really believe is that in a healthy relationship you feel safe even when old fears came up, because they will. The difference is how you handle them together. There's open communication. There's a foundation of not wanting to hurt each other, and both people are committing to growing together. That's the secure attachment foundation right there.
Yeah, that's true. So why did we want to make a video about attachment styles? So why does any of these actually matter? As we said in the beginning, your attachment style is what influence everything about how you do relationships. It affects who you are attracted to, how you handle conflict, what makes you feel loved, how you react under stress, and so on. So here's something really important that we've seen in our own lives and in working with people as well. Your attachment style isn't fixed, as we said in the beginning. It's more like a default setting that was created based on your early experiences. But as we said, you absolutely have the power to change it. Being in a healthy relationship, as Valentina said, can shift your attachment. Doing inner work can shift it. Therapy can help. Even just becoming aware of your triggers and patterns make a massive difference. Most people aren't purely one style either. A lot of times you might be secure, but then a little bit anxious in romantic relationships, or secure in with friends, for example, and then find yourself avoidant in romantic relationships or with your family. So the context also matters.
And we want to be really honest with you here. Understanding your attachment style isn't about labeling yourself or using it as an excuse. It's about gaining awareness so you can make different choices. Because we truly believe that you can transform your reality. You're not stuck in these patterns forever, as we said before. Every difficult moment in a relationship, every time an old wound gets triggered, those are actually opportunities for massive growth. They're showing you exactly what needs healing. And when you do that work, when you start operating from a secure place, everything changes. You stop attracting people who don't respect you. You start to recognize real connection versus just familiar patterns. You find your people, the ones who value authenticity and real communication as much as you do. In healthy relationship, there are no games. There's honesty, there's transparency, there's communication from the heart. Two whole people choosing to share their fullness with each other. The more you accept yourself, the more you are ready to accept someone else's difference. And the more you love yourself, the less you'll tolerate people who diminish you. Because you don't feel this void. You fill this void with yourself. So you really love you and you can share the love and you really appreciate the real love from other person.
Yeah, absolutely. And remember that your relationships are always mirrors showing you yourself. So that's actually a great opportunity. It's not a bad thing at all, right? Because it's super powerful. It means you have the ability to spot what needs to be changed and then to change it, to change what you see if this is not working for you.
Exactly. And like we mentioned, we made individual deep videos on each attachment styles where we go way deeper. What it looks like in daily life, in dating, in friendship, and practical things you can actually do to develop more security.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So if any of these things resonated with you, if you want to support our work, subscribe to our channel so you don't miss these videos as well and the upcoming ones that we will upload on the channel. Drop us a comment if you recognize yourself in any of these patterns. Let us know something about yourself if you would like to share. And yeah, we love hearing from you. So it reminds us we are all in this together, and your comment can always be useful to someone that might need to hear exactly your words, you know. So thank you if you want to leave one.
Yeah, absolutely, because that's really what this is about. We are all doing our best. We are all carrying our own stories and the stories of the people we have known. And there's something really beautiful about recognizing that and doing the work anyway. The world needs more people who are willing to look inward, to grow, to choose connection and authenticity.
Yeah. So thank you so much for being here today. That was it for this video, and we'll see you in the next one. Ciao.